Yeah, I mean, with everything that we've always tried to do all season, there's a lot of preparation leading up to it. So, obviously, when the final siren sounded in our home game against Brisbane, we had everybody in the office the next day just sort of getting that preemptive list going. There's a lot of good prospects in the free agency. There's a lot of good prospects coming out of college. And there's some international guys that we're looking at. Even though tomorrow is the start of free agency, the reality is we've done a lot of groundwork to sort of put ourselves in a really good position, I think. Working with Mark in the front office and, there hasn't been an off day. I know I've even got Mark out of bed on a couple of Sunday mornings early before his coffee to take some phone calls for us, and it's been great. Like, it's we're excited about the team we're putting together.
And to have Bull and
do you mind just
yeah, sure. To have Bull and Pinder locked down already, what does that do in terms of shaping up your priorities?
Yeah, and massive pieces. There's not too many guys like Keanu, who as a local based player has that type of skill set. It frees up a little bit in terms of getting creative with the type of imports you bring in, knowing you got a lob threat and a guy who's a fantastic rim protector and brings those type of skill set and qualities that Cam Oliver did when he was here. So that's a massive piece, and again, when you're talking about consistency and some follow on from the year before, he's only going to be a year better version of himself. And I mean, Bull is he was hot on everybody's list. There were teams, obviously, that were very eager on his services, and again, credit to Mark having to navigate some of those discussions with his agent and getting a situation where both parties were happy to have Bull here now, knowing that we've got easily one of the best spot shooters in the league, again, who's only going to get a year better. It's pretty important. So, ecstatic that we'll able to get those guys.
It's a pretty massive list of free agents, but are you going to do something similar to when you came in last year, sort of find the diamonds in the rough, so to speak, and have you sort of began looking in obscure leagues around the USA or Europe and sort of finding out names that have shown they've got some pretty good portfolios?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's probably something that I enjoy the most. We've started that process. We've gone down the road with a handful of very good candidates. The other appealing thing about it too is with the success of Keanu and Bull, it adds to the appeal from the other end for guys wanting to come here, knowing that we legitimately talk about an opportunity to apply their trade on the national stage and do so knowing that we are genuine in our approach. It also helps open up those conversations too. So, yes, we're looking at every European, Asian-based league for local players, Asian players, import players. We deep dive the senior and super senior list in college, D1, D2. We've got ourselves a nice little talent pool that, again, credit to the coaches. I've had them working some long hours in what theoretically should be their downtime as we really pick apart, each available free agent.
Some options were taken, some weren't. Quat Noise option wasn't taken. Is there any update on those sorts of players who might be coming back or won't be coming back?
In regards to Quat?
Quat, yeah.
Yeah, no, wish him well. Obviously, we had a great discussion at the end of the season, and it was one of those situations where his ability and what he's able to do and the sample size he's already provided, he's going to pick up another job. Youth, his age works on his side, but it might be a situation too where Cairns isn't the best fit for him. I guess in a similar type scenario where we always knew what Keanu was capable of doing, and maybe Adelaide wasn't the fit. A similar situation for Quat. So I fully anticipate him getting picked up by another team and doing well. And I wish him the best of luck with that.
Awesome. Obviously, there's been a lot of commentary, especially in the league the past few years, about the height of the league and how it's very much increased. Is that something you'll be looking for, a bit of height, a bit of tallness?
Yeah, I'm in love with length. That's one of the things that we've probably, one of the things that we really did at the tail end of the season was we put together what we refer to as the Satellite Coaching Initiative. And so what we did was we tried to recruit 12 coaches, 11 based in Australia, one was in New Zealand, and we put together an initial assessment template which covered three main factors, but one of them being the metrics in terms of height, body weight, length, verticality, wingspan. And so rather than me get Kaz and Will and Gruggs to do 25, 30 players a day to make sure we got all bases covered, we basically sent this list out to all the coaches that recruited to say, hey, tick these boxes for us, data entry with it coming back to say that it's a pass or a fail. And so the importance of, having length and, that verticality and that athleticism and wingspan and everything else, because more so being able to, one of the things I guess we were exposed with defensively last year was dynamic forwards, power forwards and centres, and having the ability for us to not only be able to defend them, but then on the opposite end, them being able to switch out and guard multiple positions. That's something we want to replicate and do here. We've already done that, obviously, with Bull being a 6'7" guard with great athleticism, and then of course Keanu being the athlete that he is. So yeah, bringing in more similar traits like that's only going to benefit.
No, it's a bit of a simple question for a complex answer, but what are you looking for during free agency period? Talent, hard working, humbleness. I've been looking at different similar type models. I had a chat with Scott Roth, and he talked about that group being hungry and humble. I've been looking at the success this season so far with the Cowboys, how they've gone with youth. They were predicted to finish bottom of the ladder, and right now I think they're 7-3, and they've got the second best defense in the league. I know nothing about NRL, but there's a part of me that appreciates what they're trying to build there. So yeah, what we're trying to target is young, ambitious dudes who have like-minded qualities, where guys want to get into the gym and get better. Where guys are going to compete and challenge each other. But also an ability to check your ego at the door and recognise that you need to sacrifice some of your own individual needs for the greater good of the team, knowing that you're going to achieve more having that type of mindset.
Pinder was having an off-season when you picked him up for Taipans, and I know you've talked a lot about seeing a portfolio as a whole rather than just a flash in the pan, so to speak. Will that be what you're looking for? Like, will there be players who have had maybe a tough season last year but have had overall a good career?
Yes and no. It's interesting. There are a few guys like that in the league. I don't think to the extent that there was the year before. I think the last couple of seasons there have been multiple guys where I think there have been underutilised, I guess the best way to say it. I don't know if that's the case so much with this year's free agency, but what this year's free agency does pose is a really good draft class coming out of college. So it's probably more of a focus of looking for the qualities that we found in Bull coming out of college rather than looking for the qualities that we found in Keanu around the league. So not to be dismissive of some of the free agents that are out there, because there's some great prospects. But, again, we're leaving no stone unturned, and this is where it's been fantastic working with the front office and the assistant coach. We've left no stone unturned, and we're just starting to recognise where the majority of the talent that we're looking to target, we're probably finding a little bit more in the college system and overseas than in the free agency at the moment.
Just in terms of imports, Taj, Machado, Zimmerman, they'll all be hot property for other teams this season. How actively are the Taipans pursuing those three guys to bring back next season?
Yeah, I mean, I made no secret of it throughout the season, and even my last press conference, the importance I valued in Taj. Zim came out and did exactly what we wanted him to do, which was to rebound and be a defensive presence. And then Scott is still, one of the best, point guards who has the ability to see, has the court vision that is uncomparable in the league. So, we're making some good groundwork. The importance for us was to really lock in with our local contingent, because I still strongly believe that getting that local core is more important, and then you get your import pieces to complement that. So, while we have been in discussions with what direction we want to look at with our imports, the main focus, especially for last 6 weeks, has been the local side of it, which, again, I'm really excited to start rolling out these names in the coming weeks.
Perfect.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you.